Welcome back to another installment of Free Money NFL Week 15 edition. Where has the season gone? We are coming down the home stretch. Still a couple money-making opportunities. We're coming off our first perfect 3-0 week last week, so let's keep it rolling heading into Week 15. Not going to lie, this week the lines a little bit trickier than last week. Last week there was a bunch of games I liked. There was like 4 or 5 that I felt really strongly about. It showed this week a little questionable on the lines, but these seem like the best ones out there. So we will see how we do. Take the Dolphins over the Patriots. Dolphins are favored by 1.5 right now. Now, usually the rule of thumb is you don't trust a rookie quarterback against Bill Belichick, and that's usually been my rule of thumb as well, especially in betting. This week's a little bit different with Tua. Tua's coming off his first 300-yard passing game against the Chiefs. So that's good. He's playing pretty well. And also, with the one thing he has going for him, like unlike most rookie quarterbacks, he does not turn the ball over. He only has 1 interception this year. He's very cautious with the football, which is good. His head coach is also the former defensive coordinator in New England. So he's going to have an idea of what the Patriots are going to try and do against Tua. So that should help as well. Brian Flores is a big X factor here. Also, on the flip side, New England's offense ranks 26th in the NFL. They're not very good. They're coming off a game where they scored 3 points against the Rams. They're facing a Miami defense, on the other hand, that ranks 2nd in points allowed per game, only giving up 18.8. They're tied for first in takeaways with 25, and they don't let their opponents get third downs. The third down percentage against them is just 33.1. Also, they're third in opponent passer rating at 83.7. This is an important stat, too, because Cam Newton does not throw the ball well. He's not a very good passer. He gets most of the damage done with his legs. He also has had that questionable shoulder injury. He was pulled midway through the game last week against the Rams. So this was a tough spot for the Patriots and Cam Newton facing this defense. And one more little nugget for you. The Patriots' last 7 road games in Miami, they're just 2-5 covering the spread, and that's with Tom Brady. Now you got Cam Newton here and a much better Dolphins team that's playing for playoff position. Patriots more or less eliminated at this point. I really like the Dolphins this week. Take the Colts over the Texans. Colts favored by 7.5. That's a lot of points to give up, especially to Deshaun Watson. But there's a couple reasons I really like the Colts this week. Number 1, they're 15-3 over their last 18 games against the Texans in Lucas Oil Stadium. Now, home field advantage doesn't matter as much this year, but in Indianapolis is one of the few places that does allow fans, so they have a slight home field advantage again, and they play very well against the Texans at home. The Texans' defense has been putrid this year. They gave up 8.1 yards per attempt to Mitchell Trubisky. They made Mitch Trubisky look good. Trubisky also had a passer rating of 126.7. So if Mitchell Trubisky's putting up those numbers against you, potential Hall of Famer in Phillip Rivers should have no problem doing so. Also, the Texans defense, which was already bad, they've been even worse since Bradley Roby's been suspended. He's still serving that suspension this week. So a bad Texans defense is going to be even more putrid this past couple of weeks. In Week 13, this is the first game of Roby's suspension. The Colts already paid him once this year. Phillip Rivers put up similar numbers to Trubisky. He had 8.1 yards per attempt and had a 119.3 passer rating against them. I like Phillip Rivers. I had the privilege of watching him play earlier this year against the Titans. He just chucks the ball all over the field with no regard for the defense. He's a gunslinger. So he should be able to put up numbers on this hapless Texans defense. Texans have given up on the year as well. Like that game against the Bears is pathetic. They were still, in theory, in the playoff race, and they just lied down and got taken back behind the woodshed. Bears really stuck it to them. Colts, meanwhile, they're playing for playoff seeding and a tightly contested AFC South division title. So Texans have officially been eliminated after last week's stinker. They got nothing else to play for. They're injured. They're horrible on defense. Colts need a win. Also, a little more incentive for you. T.Y. Hilton and Jonathan Taylor, 2 of the big weapons for the Colts on offense. They've broken out in recent weeks. Last week, Jonathan Taylor had 150 yards and 2 touchdowns against the Raiders. And T.Y. Hilton, he's kind of suddenly emerged late in the year. He has 4 touchdowns in 3 weeks. So take the Colts over the Texans. Finally, taking a dog this last game, take the Washington football team over the Seahawks. Washington is getting 6.5 points. And that's way too many for the Seahawks to get. The Seahawks are overvalued. I mean, don't get me wrong, they're a very good team. But against this Washington football team that is playing pretty good football in recent weeks, the big factor here is going to be the offensive line play versus the defensive line for Washington. Strength versus weakness, straight up. Russell Wilson is playing behind a horrible offensive line. He also takes way too many sacks. There's not many weak points in Russell Wilson's game, but taking sacks is one of them. Since week 10, Wilson trails only Carson Wentz for the most sacked quarterbacks in the NFL. Meanwhile, Washington has the potential to wreak havoc up front. Chase Young has developed into an elite pass rusher. He had a breakout game last week. And he's also joined by Jonathan Allen, Darren Payne, and Montrezl Sweat, who can all get to the QB. On offense, Washington is tied for the fewest turnovers since week 11, and they have the largest point differential in the NFL. Ron Rivera has this team humping. They have the potential to make some noise if they can sneak into the postseason. I think Seattle probably still wins this game, but it's going to be very ugly. But the team with no name should be able to cover in this one just because of their offensive front against that weak Seattle offensive line. Thank you so much for listening. That's all we have for you. If you like the video, make sure to subscribe to the channel or throw a like on like our channel. And as always, enjoy your football Sunday.